My name is Regina Casalina, and I'm the Program Research Associate at the Center for Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Salem State University. We are here at the Lynn Museum, Lynn Arts, looking at the traveling exhibit called Immigration Stories and Oral History of Russian-Speaking Jews in Massachusetts. I myself am from Kiev, from Ukraine, and we immigrated here with my family in 1994. And I grew up listening to the stories of my family, my grandparents, and about their lives in the Soviet Union, but also about our immigration experience. And part of it is also a collaboration with a colleague, Dan Eshed, who is himself from Israel, and his family has sketches of one of the refuseniks that was involved in the Leningrad trial. And so we got talking, and this kind of came out of our conversations together. The traveling exhibit itself is part of a larger project. It's an oral history project in which we are recording interviews with Russian-speaking Jews, refugees from the former Soviet Union, about their experiences and lives in the Soviet Union and the immigration experience. And so from the very beginning, we knew that we wanted to have the individual stories be included. We also knew that we wanted to talk about refuseniks and their struggle in the Soviet Union, and also about the various Jewish organizations and larger local organizations that really helped and welcomed refugees from the former Soviet Union, starting in the 70s and continuing up through the mid-90s and early 2000s. Massachusetts was a major area of settlements. New York was, again, the first gateway city and had the largest population, but after that it was Boston and places like Brookline, like Brighton, and then also Lynn. Lynn was an important gateway city for refugees coming from the former Soviet Union. In 1979, Jewish Federation of the North Shore and Jewish Family Service began providing aid. And as a result, you still have a very large population to this day. There's 2 Eastern European stores, a restaurant, and a lot of people that are still from that earlier wave in the 90s. Every person that I interviewed has a unique story, and they all went through tremendous kind of experiences that you really wouldn't kind of expect. Just their kind of resilience in the face of everything that they had experienced, but also recognizing for most people the nuances of life in the Soviet Union and kind of the struggles that some had to go through as they wanted to leave, but also recognizing that, you could never go back. You're left with nothing. And so the struggle to make this decision that in the long run was going to, of course, help and make their life better, but at the same time, it's an almost impossible decision for some people, especially if they have to leave their family members behind. They can't take them with them. Also, I think the connections that you have with other immigrant refugee communities, that these are the same kind of struggles that they're going through as they decide to come here as well, that they have to leave everything and everyone behind. The reception to the project has been overwhelmingly positive. There have been projects to document the experience of Holocaust survivors from the former Soviet Union, but in terms of kind of the story of the immigration, this is one of the first. We've been able to interview people in Russian. That has also been very important to them to be able to speak in the language in which they experienced this history. And then also from the kind of neighbors from the Jewish community here, from Lynn. Many people were involved in the student struggle or the resettlement process. Everybody that had been coming has been remembering either their neighbors or themselves participating in this. This exhibit is going to be at the Lynn Museum, Lynn Arts until December 11th. It is actually in 3 languages, so in English, Russian, and Spanish, and we want it very much to be accessible to the large Latin American population here. In some ways, this is a Soviet story, but in other ways, it's really a universal immigrant story. And I think reading especially the bios, there are things that we can really relate to and kind of start conversations about the universal immigrant experience. In terms of the future of this project, the traveling exhibit we hope to bring to other communities, bring to Boston, where again, there's a large Russian-speaking community as well. And then in terms of the oral history project, we'll be continuing to conduct interviews. I have more scheduled for later this year and then into next year, both about, again, life in the Soviet Union, about World War II. Some of the people that I've interviewed were Holocaust survivors or descendants of them, so about the war and the Holocaust in the Soviet Union. and also about their immigrant experience as well. If you have a story to share, or you think someone participating in this would like to share their story, we would love to hear it.
To support Greater Lynn Senior Services and see more videos like these, please consider making a donation at the link below and subscribe to our channel.